won't make that freaking mistake again. Jalen Hurts was named Super Bowl MVP, but his teammate Josh Sweat, he should have gotten the award shady. Gosh, what's that?
Are you serious? Sure?
Wow.
What are you doing?
Wow.
Yo,
You messed up our sweep because you said sure and IDK.
Well, what does the sure mean, though?
Sure.
No.
Sure.
Say it with your chest.
Sure. The Hurts up next.
Yeah. So a lot of people ask me to do the facility. And this is the closest I can get right now. I'll be honest with y'all. Because the facility is it's just not a show that I watch. And it's because I'll keep it light, but I'll just say it's just not my show. Okay. And this is a perfect example for this because it's just so insane from Acho to not give Jalen Hurts his this is the theatrics of sports talk shows and stuff like that I detest. I find actually like legitimately awful. Now you guys all know I don't love some of the theatrics of Nick Wright and stuff like that, but I can conceptually understand it, and it is actually part of his brand. And so in a way it's how the guy makes his money, and I'm not gonna necessarily hate on that. It's not my brand in terms of what some of the stuff that Nick does, but it's how he feeds his family. He's built a brand. He's built a massive audience. Whether you love him or hate him, what he's doing is working, and it's you can respect that to a degree, right? You can respect the hustle, you can respect the grind, but something like this is just bro, what are you what are you doing here? And now you're trying too hard and you're not really succeeding, right? You're not even doing it well. If you're gonna do it, at least do it well. If you're gonna be that guy, then be that guy. But now you're just what? Who can take you seriously? Who can take you seriously? It's just so wild because when you really understand what Jalen Hurts has been able to do, it's been amazing, and we have to put it in perspective. Jalen Hurts in that offense scored 145 points, most points scored in a single postseason in NFL history. Sounds pretty amazing to me. The Eagles averaged 36.25 points per game, while holding opponents to 18.75. It's effectively 15.25 as the Chiefs were down 40-6 till the Eagles pulled their starters, and they were giving Nick Sirianni a Gatorade bath. They had 6 sacks in the Super Bowl, but that's obviously less about Jalen Hurts, and averaged 204.5 rushing yards per game, which, by the way, Jalen Hurts was the leading rusher in the Super Bowl. So we can't just say it's all Saquon. Saquon obviously is a huge impact. No one's taking that away. But let's not forget that Jalen Hurts also literally helped Saquon, get some of the yards that he gets, which is indisputable. Jalen Hurts. This is now in their 2 Super Bowl matchups. What do you guys see here? Do I have to spell it out? That Jalen Hurts has Patrick Mahomes beaten in every category, and we know it would be even worse. Because one, obviously when the Eagles were up by so much, eventually they're just going to be okay, we're going to hand the ball off. Eventually it was just hand the ball off, hand the ball off, hand the ball off. And then they pulled their starters. The Kansas City Chiefs didn't pass the 50 until 2 minutes left in the third quarter, when the score was 34-0. So a bunch of this is a bunch of garbage. 3 of those touchdowns is a bunch of garbage. Okay? We know that. We know that a bunch of those passing yards are a bunch of garbage. Maybe the rushing yards are probably the same, so congrats. Jalen Hurts has double you. I mean, Jalen Hurts has more rushing yards in one game, in one Super Bowl, than Mahomes has in both. It's just unbelievable. The disrespect that Jalen Hurts continues to get. Jalen Hurts is the only QB in NFL history to do all the following in any single game, regular or postseason. Throw for 200 plus yards, rush for 70 plus yards, throw multiple TD passes, rush for a touchdown, complete 75% of his passes, average 10 plus yards per pass attempt, and win the game. And he did it in the Super Bowl. What don't we understand by how amazing and how incredible that is? We know if it was Patrick Mahomes, it would be they'd put it on the trophy. They literally put it on the Lombardi. I mean, they would be taking all of his jersey and his shoes and his socks and his underwear and like, we got to put this in the Hall of Fame. This has to be enshrined. We're gonna have to dip this in gold, you know. But it's when Jalen Hurts does it, it's like, yeah. Well, the defense played good. The defense was amazing. The defense was absolutely amazing and legendary and historic in their own right. I am not taking away anything away from the defense. It has always been the imbalance of quarterback, how much praise you get as a quarterback, the MVP. You know, we always say that the MVP is a quarterback award and all that type of stuff. And I get all of that. And it makes sense. It's a difficult thing when you're talking about, like, you know, who gets the most credit for a win, because a quarterback, right, they obviously touch the ball every single snap, right? And they're responsible for the offense scoring points. So, like, that's where the mind goes to. I get that. But that's a separate conversation. But it seems like we only want to have that conversation when dealing with Jalen Hurts. There's no way if it was Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, that we'd be like, yeah, I guess he was deserving of the MVP. Okay, sure. The only way you would take it away from Lamar is if Derrick Henry rushed for like 200 yards in a Super Bowl or something. We'll never know, because Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, can't get there. They can't even get to the conference championship game. I also love this. The highest EPA dropback in Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts, 2024.51. Tom Brady, 0.47. Nick Foles, 0.41. Hurts now owns the most efficient Super Bowl performance by a quarterback in NFL history. He also has 2 of the top 10 Super Bowl performances by a quarterback by literally every normal, advanced, and statistic. Which is true. I've already talked about that before in the past. I talked about how his Super Bowl, his first game against Patrick Mahomes, was statistically one of the best. It was either the first or second best statistical performance in Super Bowl history by many metrics. And this was PFF doing all the advanced analytics. And it's just so outrageous to me that we want to then take this away from Jalen Hurts. I just don't understand what it will take. I really don't. And like something like this, the little smirk, like, sure. Dude, imagine still just not giving Jalen Hurts the respect after he just won the Super Bowl in a way that everyone said he couldn't, that he was incapable of doing. He was doubted every single playoff game. He was doubted every single regular season game, but especially obviously in the playoffs when we know that's when it really matters most. He comes back from a concussion and plays a perfect game against the Green Bay Packers. A perfect game. When you actually really watch the film and understand how that game unfolded. And then in a blizzard with a bad knee, leads that team to victory. In a blizzard, rips off a 40-plus yard touchdown run, checks into the massive touchdown run for Saquon Barkley. Just a masterclass in actually running the offense and showing why it's beyond just throwing touchdown passes. Not to mention, would have had even better stats if A.J. Brown catches that ball, if the one catch from Devontae doesn't get his head knocked off, you know, and instead of it was just like a 15-yard penalty, that would boost his stats, give him an extra touchdown, increase his passer rating, etc. And then obviously balls out against the Washington Commanders, a team and a game that most people said the Washington Commanders are going to win. and that Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback. There was more conversation about Jaden Daniels winning the Super Bowl than the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts just winning the NFC Championship game. And then now, even going into the Super Bowl, majority of people said, oh, with the AFC Conference Championship game, the winner of that game is going to win the Super Bowl. Like, that's the real Super Bowl. It's the Chiefs versus Bills. Whoever wins that is winning. And then now we know it was the Chiefs, and now we know it was all the three-peat conversation. We know all that. But like every single day, not a single day, let me say this again, not a single day that not every single popular sports show didn't have at least one segment, one soundbite, one moment where they questioned Jalen Hurts, where they questioned him. And now the dude wins the Super Bowl, balls out, puts up one of the most amazing performances you physically can, passes both the eye test and the statistical test, dominates the Kansas City Chiefs, crushes their hopes at a three-peat, humiliates them. Truly, people are now making fun of the Kansas City Chiefs when they were just saying that this three-peat is inevitable and that they are going to cement themselves as the team that will forever be the greatest team in the history of the universe. And Jalen Hurts plays a massive role in that. Obviously not all, because it's football. So like literally even Jake Elliott had to do his part. Special teams had to, like, it's football. It's a team sport. And you want to use this time, this platform, to try to pull down Jalen Hurts. It's just kind of insane when you think about it. How much doubt Jalen Hurts has faced. And to have him now win the Super Bowl, win the MVP, and then on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, have people question how much credit does he deserve? It's insanity. It is the definition of brain rot. I mean, like, it's delusional. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. It's insulting. It's awful. It's horrendous. It's a disgrace. I'm not being too extreme here. I'm really, really not. I get the game of sports talk like I do. And I pick and choose what I like and what I don't like. And some of the things that I don't like give me a room for me to then, like, for me to kind of give my own takes. So, like, in a lot of ways, I kind of have some gratitude. Even a take like this, technically, I got some gratitude, because without it, if everyone did what I wanted them to do, then, like, it wouldn't give me much room to work with. But, like, this is my authentic reaction where I'm just like, I actually find this, like, in poor taste. I really do. I really, really do. I really, really do. Again, Nick Wright, I almost get it, because it's his brand and it's how he makes the money. And he welcomes it. He knows it. He admits it. Like, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm here to obviously be like a Chiefs homer, and I'm here to antagonize fan bases. Like, that's what I do. That's why people watch me. A ton of Philadelphia Eagles fans, they couldn't wait until Monday because they just wanted to see what Nick Wright was going to say. That's part of why Nick Wright is popular, because people want to hate him. Even Stephen A kind of came out and said, listen, I'm popular because so many people hate me and think I'm awful. Like, that's part of their brand. So I get it. That's not his brand. And people hate him not because he's like, that's my brand. It's like, no, because this is just awful. This is just awful. This is cartoonish. And when I saw this, because this is just actually the very end of this show leading into the herd, and I'm just like, okay, I'm setting up for the herd, and I see this, and I'm like, what? What is this? Just wild to me. It really is. It really is. And like I said before, and in all of my Jalen Hurts videos, it's like, I'm just like not gonna let this go under the radar. I'm not gonna let Jalen Hurts' greatness be understated. Again, if you want to debate by where does he rank and this, I'm all for that. I really, really am, and we can have some interesting conversations, etc., etc. But the man just balled out, won the Super Bowl, did it in a way that everyone said he couldn't. They took away Saquon Barkley. He needed to be the leading rusher himself. He passed beautifully. He avoided the pressure. He scrambled when the pocket collapsed. He moved out of the pocket and rolled out and threw beautiful passes. I mean, like, people are trying to act like anyone could have won that Super Bowl, and it's just not true. That defense played great. Jalen Hurts still needed to run that offense, and there were many moments that Jalen Hurts could have failed. And that game then could have become 17-7, 10-3. Like, it easily could have closed. It easily, and that changes everything. It changes everything. It changes how Andy Reid calls the game. It changes how Spags calls the defense. It changes how Fangio calls the game for defense. It changes how Kellen Moore calls the offense. Like, everything changes. Everything changes. And there were many, many moments. Many, many moments. And everything that Patrick Mahomes failed to do, outside of just the great defense from the Philadelphia Eagles, but when there was some separation, when there were moments in time when Patrick Mahomes had the opportunity to be special, he failed in every single moment. And in every single moment, when Jalen Hurts was asked to be special in that moment, when it just all came down to, what are you going to do, Jalen? It's up to you. He passed every single time without a shadow of a doubt. Again, it's like you can't even argue against it. Just go from play to play to play. And we still want to hate on this man. We still want to pull away some of his credit. No. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about just the continued slander of Jalen Hurts? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.